What's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and Fortnite's kind of taken over the channel just a little bit. Now, I normally cover free-to-play multiplayer games. There's multiplayer games, period, and Fortnite is kind of freaking hype. A lot of people talking about it, a lot of people playing it, and a lot of people want to know how to get better. How do you up your game? How do you win your duels more often? How do you get into the top 10 more consistently and consecutively? And I think these are the 10 tips for you, especially if you're totally new to the BR genre. Maybe you've only ever won once or never at all, and you're kind of scared. You're a little bit timid. Well, I'm going to let you guys know these tips so that you guys can feel a little bit more confident going into your matches and really give it a good shot. So show your teeth, friends. It's Battle Royale. Let's have some fun. Alright guys, so the first tip that I got for you is incredibly basic. It was actually the first tip that was ever given to me on stream on my first day, and immediately it's just switch to your pickaxe, right? Whenever you're looting so that you only pick up the ammo. Now, of course, you need to switch to other weapons if you want to swap weapons, obviously, but if just picking up ammo can be kind of tedious in this game, especially if you're totally brand new. Things get all clumped together. So if you just kill somebody and they're just kind of like a loot pinata, exploded all over the ground there, you just got all this awesome stuff you want to pick up, but not all of it. You just want the ammos. You just want to be stocked up, right? Run through it with a pickaxe. Easy peasy. Now, remember, you need to get right on some things, but yeah, for the most part, just switch out to your pickaxe, and then you can just loot the ammo. And then from there, you can kind of procure exactly what you want out of that little pile of what remains. Tip number 2 is going to be to change your key bindings, and for any PC game, this is kind of like obvious, but for Fortnite especially, we're a game where you can have so many different kinds of weapons and items to use at any one time, and you have this whole other configuration where you can actually press lots of weird buttons and build things, and you can actually like edit those buildings, and you got to do a million things all at once, or at least in sequence, and you want to get that sequence just right. So please look at your key bindings, change them around, mix and match, guys, and just really own that shit, okay? So some of you guys play on PS4. I can't really say too much about that. I play on PC, but my preferred key bindings for weapons, at least at the moment, is going to be switch it to 123 ZXC. I promise you guys, you're going to have a lot easier time switching back and forth and doing the do. Next tip is going to be about landing and where to land, and I kind of want to tackle the misconception of that you should always land where most people don't go. And this is kind of a different game than PUBG. You don't have just like a tremendous amount of all sorts of kinds of loots everywhere, and you can just go, you know, off to some city and just loot it entirely for free. This game is a lot smaller map, and there's still 100 players, and it's pretty easy to get to jump on people because of building and everything, so really what you want to do is immediately get into the fight. That's what makes this game such a good contender against H1Z1, and also a really complementary game to PUBG, because it is actually different play styles. So if you want to play this game, and you want to go for the top 10, you need to get your loot, and just think of other players as, I guess, loot vehicles, or vehicles for that good stuff that you need for top 10, right? So just look for the loot pinatas, the llama pinatas as I like to call them, and you will win the game. Of course, you can still be sneaky. Of course, you can still play a little bit slower, and it just takes one, gray shotgun to get a whole suite of purples from some guy who wasn't expecting you. So yes, you can play however you want. The risk and reward is your game to be played. However, just know that this is it's a feast or famine game, and if you wait too long to really go into these places and get some loot, you're just gonna get the trash loot, and when it comes to end game, you're not gonna have enough ammo, you're not gonna have enough firepower to break down other people's buildings and to really win consistently. Next tip that I got for you, friends, is going to be a loadout tip. Now, I don't want to just tell you exactly what you should have your loadout on. In fact, I could probably do a whole separate video on what I prefer my loadout to be, but I will say that you do need one weapon. There is one thing that you should really keep in mind for trying to, actually win the game, get top 10. And that's going to be a weapon, and there's tons of them out there, from a rocket launcher, grenade launcher, SCAR, the DMR. You want something that can break walls, because when you get to top 10, it becomes a little bit more open, and the gameplay becomes significantly more like really intense, really skill-based, and you have to play with the building and the breaking mechanic in this title, and really, you need a weapon that can break stuff. You can't just run up with a pickaxe and then pray that they won't shotgun you from there. They're gonna see you coming, guys. Okay, so you really need to break through their defenses and kill them. So if that's, whatever weapon you choose, that's up to you, but just keep in mind, in your 3-weapon loadout or 2, you need something that's gonna wreck some walls and then their faces. Next tip that I got for you guys is going to be just telling you that you need materials. And if you're just sitting there camping, maybe it's like 30 people left and you have 0 wood, 0 bricks, 0 steel especially. Oh my goodness, dude. Go full-blown Minecraft. Chop down a freaking forest. especially if you can see the circle encroaching on open fields or maybe the mountains, you're going to need to build. Like, you will literally lose. I've had matches where I've won because the enemy persons couldn't actually build anything to climb up the mountain where the circle just cut them off. So that is going to come into play, guys. I can't stress it enough how important and fun and cool and important the building aspect is, and to build things you need materials. So yeah, you're gonna get that, from killing, from the llama pinatas that run around, easy peasy, and also you can just find them in chests or just laying around, or if you need to, actively freaking mine these materials. I say a good, healthy place to be is 100 of each when it comes to the top 10, and you're gonna need it. I promise you. If you want to consistently win, you need to build in this game. A lot of people think that maybe you could just use other people's buildings, but don't chance it. This is a game all about risks and rewards. You might as well take about a little risk out of this game so that you get some more rewards. My next tip is going to be on sound. So this game, especially with building, there's so many ways to break line of sight, and it's a BR game, so hiding is kind of the game. But sound is just kind of wonky right now. It is early access, so this might be a little bit of an outdated tip, but just know that the way this operates in pretty much every other BR game that I know of has this weird system where sound doesn't carry across the entire map, not like Battlefield, and sound is very inconsistent. Like, you can hear a sniper from really far away, but a freaking grenade you don't. But you definitely hear a rocket launcher, but you don't hear grenade launchers. Steps sometimes just kind of misstep, you don't hear them, and yeah, guns, sometimes you don't hear them in certain distances. So it's very inconsistent, very awkward. Just know that ahead of time. As you jump into the game, you need to be a little bit more cautious. If somebody sounds far away, they might actually be right next to you, just across the wall or the hallway or something. And yeah, just if you want to really win a lot more often, then you need to be just extra a little bit careful when you do hear any sound whatsoever, or maybe if you don't hear anything, there still could be someone like just a front yard away from you. And just kind of keep that in mind, guys. Okay, yeah, the next tip I got is actually really obvious for people who play competitive games, but since this is a, none other players in a match kind of game, a lot of players aren't going to be able to play this on, like, the best settings, so this is going to be for my PC bros, but you're going to want to turn down some settings, okay? Turn down some settings so that you can play at the highest FPS. You want to mix and match so that you can actually see what you actually play the game, so if you're on PS4 or PC, make sure that you're playing on the best resolution that you can, or have the best TV you can, or monitor, or whatever, blah, 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 sure, but just know on PC, like, if you need to turn down some settings, please do. Getting a solid frame rate, 60 or hundreds or whatever you're playing at that your monitor is, have it at a consistent frame rate. So whenever the firefights do happen, or particle effects are flying everywhere because of freaking explosions, just know that you will have a solid frame rate and you'll be able to clutch shotgun kill for the win. Absolutely super important. Though I do think there is probably some debate over the ratio of your display resolution versus the frame rate you get. How important is it? I mean, obviously frame rate is most important if they're right in your face, but then resolution in the distance, actually seeing other players. What is the ratio there? Let me know in the comments below. Next up I got is to not play other people's game. So if you see somebody camping with a shotgun, they're waiting for you, don't play that game. What you could maybe do is run up, build a stairwell, maybe right behind them or right in front of them, actually, and then jump over their heads. Maybe you could shotgun them from there, or just wait it out. If you have better positioning, just wait it out. Just camp it out and snipe them later or something like that. Or you could break the wall that they're hiding behind. And there's a number of different scenarios and situations, like maybe a sniper sees you, takes a pot shot. You have a sniper rifle too. Maybe you could beat them. Maybe not. This game is all about chances, risk, reward, right? But it's better to not flip coins. Don't roll dice, Put it all in your favor. Play your game. Don't play someone else's game that they set in front of you. Don't challenge other players' taunts. Play your game with your own rule set. Now this tip is going to be specific to squads. I don't know, the rules kind of change with duos whenever that gets added, but squads, full squads of 4 players, I would say don't all drop down on the same house. See, whenever you are playing against 99 other players, you can jump down into the same house because there's probably one weapon for 3 different people. One person who lands on the roof, one on the bottom, maybe somebody breaks a hole in the middle level, I don't know. But there's probably one weapon, on each floor of that house, and then they can all duke it out. And it's fair, it's fun, and then one person walks out fully loaded from that one house. But when you're squatted, 4 people aren't going to be fully loaded or decked out from one single house, and you're kind of going to put yourself in a bad situation. If one person gets downed because all he has was a pickaxe and he ran into a squad, that's freaking awkward, and then you got to play around that. It's just not good. I think probably at most, you want to have 2 people per house. And I don't know, maybe not even that, actually. This game is really feast or famine when it comes to squatting up. So there's not a lot of loot to go around unless you actively kill people, but with squads, you have to actively fight entire squads. So I think it's probably best to immediately, as soon as the game starts, go into the fray and then try to come out alive as a squad from there. And lastly, guys, final tip here, I just want to say, have fun. It's really weird, and you could probably put this in any tips and tricks video, like just say, hey, just have fun. But it's like true, it's real, just like have fun, because this is the game, this is a particular genre that can make you very salty. And there's this sort of like mindset, this sort of almost disease that affects players called tilt. It's called tilting, and it's affected by mainly salt in the bloodstream. So when you tilt, you're gonna make a lot of bad decisions. And in this game mode, this genre, which is entirely dictated by your decisions, it's really important to not tilt, to not just kind of numb your brain to all the different stimulus that could have, you know, 1 versus 99 in this big old map with all these variables going around. You need to focus. You can't tunnel vision, guys. I know you can make literal tunnels in the game, but don't tunnel vision, okay? You can't just camp in some little corner and hope to win, though I guess sometimes that can happen, but you need to actively make that decision. You need to make a lot of decisions, so you need to be having fun, you need to be engaged, and you need to be really playing the game. You need to be risking the odds. You need to be taking those rewards, those llama pinatas. You need to make it happen, or else you're going to lose a lot more and you're going to stay tilted, and it's going to be a vicious cycle of toxicity, which I know this genre can have. But Fortnite is a really fun game. Please have fun with it. That's really all I ask. And from there, take the rest of the tips, you know, make your own game decisions, and maybe we'll do another video and get those advanced tips or something, and, you know, keep going, keep trying to do better, win more, and keep having fun. And that's a positive cycle that I want to see in this community. I would absolutely love it, and I think you guys will too. Anyways, guys, that's really all I got for tips. Those were the basic tips. I actually have a lot more for like advanced tips as you get into the game and tactics that you need to take. You know, what's the best thing to build and what kind of structures could you make possibly, or which guns are best for which scenarios, and, you know, things like that. So if you want to see that, like, subscribe, and let me know, hey, should I do more advanced tips? Because that's actually already coming on the way. But yeah, just let me know, man. Just let me know your feelings about Fortnite, about this, you know, series, about me covering Fortnite. And I just want to let you guys know that I am having fun, and I hope you guys are too, especially because, you know, my final tip was have fun, please. Anyways, guys, that's it. Keep the hype alive, and I'll see you again next time.